Former Rocks pirate, the Golden Lion Shiki is a monumental pillar of the old generation of legends in One Piece. We haven't seen much of him, but when we have, it's been nothing short of impactful. From an all-out war with Roger, to taking on the Navy's two elites by himself, to the incredible display of his Devil Fruit abilities in the 2009 film Strong World, Shiki is nothing short of a legend. But it's been well over 10 years since the last time we've heard of him or his whereabouts, so where exactly is he? Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy, the Nature Boy, back with another video for you guys here today. And today we're going to be talking about the Golden Lion Shiki. But before we get into it, I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you that have shown my latest video a lot of love, my theory video. It's a very long video, but a lot of you have watched it, a lot of you have liked it, a lot of you have commented and left positive comments, some negative ones as well, but all criticism is welcome. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching it. I put a lot of work into that one, and it makes me genuinely happy to see all you guys showing it some love, so thank you. I also want to give a massive thank you to all of my loyal fans. I'll put some of your screenshots on right now. Some of you have been, I've noticed some of you have been on all of my videos, all of my comments. You like every video, you comment on every video, you're the first ones there. So anytime I see something like that from now on, I've decided I'm going to put a screenshot, I'm going to shout you guys out, I'm going to put your names on the video and you comment on the video because you guys are my ultimate supporters, and I want you guys to know I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate all of my supporters, but you guys have been there in every video, all of them commenting everything, so thank you guys all so much. So now let's talk about Shiki. So if you guys saw a video I did about a month or two ago, I did one just like this with Garp, where we just basically talk about where they are, what we know of them, and where they could possibly be. And I'm going to end it off by putting just a little bit of a theory or my opinion on what they could be doing at the moment. I did the same thing with Garp, I'll do the same thing today with Shiki. So here's what we know about Shiki so far. Shiki was a member of the Rocks Pirates. We find this out in chapter 957 titled Ultimate, along with Whitebeard, Silver Axe, Captain John, and Wang Zi. We know that from chapter 0 as well that Shiki also fought Roger with a massive fleet against Roger and the Roger Pirates and their one ship. And we know that he lost this fight. However, we also know that he lost this fight due to circumstances, natural circumstances that favored Roger in that moment, since there was a massive storm that helped Roger be able to get around and defeat the massive number of pirates on Shiki's fleet. Now, also from chapter 0, we find out that Shiki fought Garp and Sengoku together by himself in a 1v2 at Marineford upon hearing about Roger's execution. Once he heard that, he went over to Marineford and he challenged these two, and apparently they fought in a fight that destroyed half of Marineford. So that in itself is already huge, and for it to be a prime Garp and a prime Sengoku to fight Shiki, this tells us a lot about how strong he really is. Shiki was also the first person to ever break out of Impel Down, and before Luffy did it in the Impel Down arc, obviously, Shiki was also the only person to ever achieve this. And we know that Shiki was able to achieve this by cutting off both of his legs, and later on using his two swords that his main weapons of fighting were two swords, and he was able to attach these to his legs and basically use them as prosthetics. Now with the two swords, we know that Shiki fights with two swords, just like Oden. However, we haven't seen enough of him to know exactly how he fights with them. I know fighting with two swords and fighting two sword style are completely different things. Oden fights two sword style. So we don't know if Shiki fights like that as well, or if how important are the swords in Shiki's overall combat ability. We don't know, but we know he fights with two swords. Now let's get to the good stuff. Let's talk about Shiki's Devil Fruit. So Shiki's Devil Fruit is called the Fua no Mi. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Or the float fruit in English, where it allows him to fly himself or float himself. But what the really good thing about it is it allows him to make any object, no matter how big or small, that he comes in contact with, to also float or fly in the air as high as he wants and as long as he wants. Where it's stated that until he actively and intentionally deactivates it, or falls unconscious, so unless he intentionally stops it or he falls unconscious, those things will remain floating forever. So that's very interesting, because we saw with Kaido in Wano the way he was able to make Onigashima float was he was able to do it with the clouds. However, it was not stated, but it was heavily implied, and I think the general consensus that the fan base believes is that it was taking a lot of energy for him to keep doing this over a long amount of time. With Shiki's fruit, I believe this is not the case whatsoever, because his fruit specializes in making objects float. So as soon as he touches it and it floats, he can just do that forever, pretty much, as long as he stays conscious and as long as he wanted to. Now, granted, One Piece Strong World, the film itself, is not canon. However, Shiki, the character, along with all of his abilities, are 100% canon. Now, when it comes to Shiki's age, I don't believe it has ever been confirmed how old he is. I don't know. But we do know that he was a monumental figure in the old era, along with Roger and Whitebeard. And we also know that he was a key figure in that era, where we don't know if they were Yonko at that time, but we know that Roger, Whitebeard, Shiki, and Big Mom were all huge names, big pirates at that time, all within the same era. So we can scale his age roughly along the lines of those guys. I would probably say he's probably like mid-70s, maybe a little bit older than Whitebeard, a little bit younger than Roger, somewhere there, who knows. Now, aside from the movie Strong World and Chapter 0, which is a whole separate thing on itself, we haven't actually ever seen Shiki in the canon manga or anime. I don't believe we've ever seen him, except one scene in Wano where we see the old lady talking to Orochi, and she has Bon Clay's devil fruit, where she touches a face, and then when she touches herself, it transforms to that face. And as she's skipping by these faces, she quickly touches her face at one moment, and we see a glimpse of a younger Shiki. So this is canon. This is in the manga. So not only does this confirm Shiki himself is canon as a character, but it confirms that he is in the world of One Piece, and that this lady actually came in contact with him somewhere in the story. So that's a very interesting thing, and I'm wondering if Oda is gonna put that into play later on in the story. Now, for anyone that's been reading One Piece for a few years now, you guys will probably remember a couple of years back when Oda did an interview, and he said that the next year there's going to be a lurking legend introduced to the story. And I remember at the time, a lot of us were speculating Shiki. Me, myself, I was 100% bought into the theory that it was going to be Shiki, and Shiki was finally going to be introduced into the actual canon manga. But it's never actually been straight up stated who it was. But I think now that the years have passed, it seems like around the time that he said it and what happened following the next year, it seems like he was most likely talking about Rocks. But with Rocks being Shiki's old captain, it does at the end of the day come back to Shiki. Now that we got all that out of the way, I want to talk about what I think Shiki might be doing right now in the story. This isn't like a major theory or anything. This is just something I think would be cool if it happened, so don't take it too seriously. But the last time we saw Shiki, I believe, I don't remember if it was One Piece film Strong World or if it was Chapter 0, but he mentioned that he has a plan. And he's going to wait a long time, but when he makes his move, his plan is going to come into fruition. So this had me thinking, along with his devil fruit, and along with the everything that's surrounding the island of God Valley and how it just magically disappeared on that day. We know a lot of things happened on that day, right? We know, quick spoiler alert, if you haven't seen One Piece film Red, just skip about 10 seconds right now. Skip 10 seconds. So we know that Shanks was found by Roger and Rayleigh. We don't know if it was in God Valley, but it most likely was in God Valley. We know that Rocks fell in God Valley. We know that Kaido and Big Mom gave Kaido his devil fruit ability in God Valley. So it seems that it wasn't just as simple as Rocks falling and Roger and Whitebeard and Roger and Garp teaming up, but a lot of things happened before God Valley actually disappeared. In between Rocks being defeated and it disappearing, it seems like a lot of things happened. And I'm thinking to myself, what if the reason it disappeared is because Shiki made it disappear? Think about it. Shiki can make anything float, right? He can make islands float. If Kaido can do it, he can do it with a lot more ease. So what if Shiki, perhaps even his awakening can allow him to make stuff float while he's asleep or while he's unconscious? Maybe that's his devil fruit awakening. So what if God Valley, the island itself, holds something very special, and that's part of his plan? So his plan, I believe it was like 20 years or something, but his plan that he's holding for a very long time, that he wants to come into fruition, is probably going to be something that's going to happen end game One Piece. And I'm talking endgame, not like where we are right now, like final war stuff. And I'm thinking, what if he's been holding up God Valley, the island, this entire time to perhaps protect something that was important or something that meant a lot to rocks or just meant a lot in general, and he doesn't want people to get a hold of it. Maybe the last ancient weapon is on this island. Who knows? But I like the idea that he's holding up God Valley, waiting for the moment that everything is going to come into play in the final war, and whatever the reason is that he's holding it, whatever is up there, he's going to come in with the island, with everything, and play a massive role in the final war. And I don't think he's going to play too big of a role, but I think if this is true, it's going to be big, right? Because we're going to find out what that thing is and why God Valley was so important and why God Valley was erased from history to begin with. So if you guys enjoyed the video today, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you can get content like this on a regular basis. Everything from power scaling to analysis to theories to discussions to chapter live reactions to Bleach live reactions and everything in between. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And if you guys enjoyed this one, then you will definitely enjoy my Where is Scott Gabon video, where I do the exact same thing and break it down with Scott Gabon. So I'll go ahead and put that video up on the screen right now. Go ahead and watch that one, guys. I'll see you there, and until next time, Nature Boy out.